梁歌制作，愚公移山列子作品。太行、王屋二山，方700里，高万仞，本在冀州之南，河阳之北。北山愚公者，年且90，面山而居，成山北之色。
Made of Lianggu, lies Z's work Yugong moves mountains. Taihang and Wangwu mountains are 700 miles in size and 10,000 feet high. They are originally located south of Jizhou and north of Hayang. Yugong, Beishan, was 90 years old and lived in the mountains. Punished the barrier to the north of the mountain.
出入之于野，聚事而谋曰：吾与汝必立平险，只通豫南，达于汉阴，可乎？杂然相许。其期限一曰：以君之力，曾不能损魁父之丘，如太行、王屋何？且焉知土石？
When entering and leaving, he gathered in the room and planned, I will follow you with your strength and keep up with the dangers, and point to the southern part of Hunan and reaching Hanin. Is it okay? He agreed to each other in a mess. His wife doubted and said, with the power of the king, I can't damage Kuefu's hills. For example, Taihang and Wang's houses? How can I place earth and stones?
杂曰：投诸渤海之尾，引土之北。遂率子孙何丹者3夫，叩石垦壤，基本运于渤海之尾。邻人京城氏之双妻有疑难，使趁跳网助之，寒暑一节，使一反焉。
Miscellaneous said, take the tail of the Bohai Sea, and the hidden soil north. So he led his descendants to carry 3 men, knocked on the stones and cultivated soil, and transported them to the tail of the Bohai Sea. The widow of the neighbor of the capital city had a son who had left behind, so he jumped to help him. The cold and heat are changing, and the weather is reversed.
何取至叟笑而止之曰：甚矣，汝之不讳。以残年余力，曾不能毁山之一毛，其如土石何？北山愚公长息曰：汝心之故，故不可彻，曾不若双妻弱子。
The wise old man in Heku smiled and stopped him and said, It's so great, you are not worth it. With the remaining years of hard work, you can't destroy a single hair of the mountain. How could it be like earth and stone? Yugong Yushi, the long-lasting man in Beishan, said, Your heart is solid, you can't be thorough, you are not as good as a widowed wife and weak son.
虽我之死，有子存焉。子又生孙，孙又生子，子又有子，子又有孙，子子孙孙无穷匮也。而山不加增，何苦而不平？何取至叟亡以应？操蛇之神闻之。
Even though I die, I have a son. The son gives birth to a grandson, and the grandson gives birth to a son. The son has a son, and the son has a grandson. The son and the descendants are endless, but the mountains do not increase, so why bother and uneven? Heku Jisho died and responded, The god who carries the snake heard it.
据其不疑也，告之于帝。帝感其诚，命夸娥氏2子赴2山，一错朔东，一错雍南。自此，冀之南，汉之阴，无垄断焉。译文：太行山和王屋山各方圆700里。
I was afraid of it and told it to the emperor. The emperor was moved by his sincerity and ordered the 2 sons of the Yi family to carry the 2 mountains, one house in the east of Shua and the other house in the south of Yong. Since then, the south of Ji and the Een of Han have been cut off. Translation: Taihang Mountain and Wangwu Mountain are 700 miles in radius.
高达万仞，古代计量单位，一仞约为7-8尺，原本位于冀州的南部，黄河以北。北山有一个名叫愚公的老人，年纪将近90岁，面朝大山居住。
It is as high as 10,000 ren, an ancient unit of measurement. One ren is about 7 or 8 feet, and was originally located in the southern part of Jizhou, north of the Yellow River. There is an old man named Yugong in Beishan. He is nearly 90 years old and lives facing the mountains.
他苦于大山阻挡北面的道路，出入极为曲折，便召集家人商议说：“我和你们尽全力铲除这些险阻，打通通往豫州南部的道路，直达汉水南岸，可以吗？”
He was suffering from the mountains blocking the road to the north, and his entry and exit were extremely tortuous. So he summoned his family to discuss and said, "You and I will do our best to eradicate these obstacles, open up the road to southern Yuzhou, and go directly to the south bank of the Han River. Is it okay?"
大家纷纷赞同。他的妻子提出疑问说：“凭你的力气，连一个小土丘都挖不平，更何况是太行山和王屋山呢？再说，挖出的泥土和石头往哪里放？”
Everyone agreed. His wife asked, "With your strength, even a small mound cannot be dug flat, let alone Taihang Mountain and Wangwu Mountain? Besides, where to put the digging of soil and stones?"
众人回答说：“把他们搬到渤海的边缘和隐土的北面。”于是，愚公带领儿孙3个人轮流挑土、挖石开道，用基本、簸箕和本箕运土石到渤海的边缘。
Everyone replied, "Move them to the edge of the Bohai Sea and to the north of the hidden soil." So Yugong led his children and grandchildren to take turns picking the soil, digging stones and opening the way, and transporting the soil and stones to the edge of the Bohai Sea with slabs, window baskets and dustpans.
邻居京城市的寡妇有个年幼的孩子，刚刚换牙，也跳着过来帮忙。寒来暑往，四季更替，他们1年才能往返一次。河曲的智叟，聪明的老人，健壮。
The widow of the neighbor Jingqing family has a young child who has just changed teeth and jumped over to help. The cold and the heat are changing, and the 4 seasons change, and they can only travel back and forth once a year. The Zisu, a smart old man, in Heku saw this.
笑着劝阻他们说：“你们真是太愚蠢了！凭你这点残余的力气，连山上的一根草都动不了，又能奈何这些泥土和石头呢？”愚公长叹一声说：“
He smiled and dissuaded them. You are so stupid. With your remaining strength, you can't even move a single grass on the mountain. Can you do anything to these soil and stones?" Yugong sighed and said,
你的思想太顽固了，简直无法改变，连寡妇和孩子都不如。即使我死了，还有儿子，儿子再生孙子，孙子又生子，子子孙孙无穷无尽。
Your mind is too stubborn to change. Even widows and children are inferior. Even if I die, I still have a son. My son will give birth to a grandson, and my grandson will give birth to a son, and my descendants will be endless.
而大山却不会继续增高，我们又有什么可怕的呢？为什么不能把它们移平呢？河曲智叟听后，无言以对。掌管山川的神听说此事，
But the mountains will not continue to grow, so what's scary about us? Why can't they be moved flat? He Chu Zissou was speechless after hearing this stuff. The god in charge of mountains and rivers heard about this.
害怕他们真的不会停止，便向天帝报告。天帝被愚公的诚心所感动，于是命令夸俄氏的2个儿子背走2座大山，一座放到朔方的东面。
Fearing that they really won't stop, I reported it to the Emperor of Heaven. Emperor Tian was moved by Yugong's sincerity, so he ordered the 2 sons of Kwa Yi to carry 2 mountains, one to the east of Shuafang.
一座放到雍州的南面，从此冀州的南部、汉水的南岸再也没有高山阻隔了。
One is placed south of Yongzhou. From then on, there were no more mountains blocking the southern part of Jizhou and the southern bank of the Han River.